Hey everybody, this is Randy. Welcome to Solare Live on Sunday, April 19. And I'm just going to kick things off a little bit. The star of the hour today. Hey Carlo. The star of the hour today is, of course, the amazing Petra Belliti, our Italian wine ambassador. She's going to be joining us in just a moment. Hey Bill, how are you? She's going to be joining us in just a moment, and we're going to get on in like a dual screen. We're a little bit busy here at Solare, which is great. Thank you, everybody, for your orders. Our executive chef, Filippo, born and raised in Tuscany, is also hoping to join, and so that's fabulous. Petra, if you are able to come in, let me know. Otherwise, I'll figure out how to send you an invitation. While we're waiting to do that, I know many of you, like about 15, got the Italian Spritz Cocktail kit that we prepared. So if you have that, the bottom line is probably open up the Prosecco, make sure it's cold. If you got it this afternoon, it should have already been cold. Have your wine glass ready, have some ice ready, your garnish of citrus have ready, so we can all go along here with a wonderful spritz, which I'm looking forward to. Hi, Dave, my wine drinking friend. I was able to talk with him this morning. Thanks so much for joining. That's awesome. But anyways, let's see here. We're going to get Petra to join in a moment. Let me just do one quick announcement. I mentioned it yesterday in our Solare Live with Chef Filippo on the tiramisu. I just want to tell everybody thank you so much because I have a special announcement. The announcement is over the last, here we go. We have a request from Petra. Go live. Let's see, through the magic of technology, we are waiting for Petra to join. So we're going to have a dual screen. There she is. For me, she's down there. Maybe it's switched for you guys. Ciao, Petra. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Randy. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Whoops. There we go. I moved in order to see you better. No, I am doing wonderful. Thanks so much for joining. It looks like you're at home, which is great.
I am, and I have my kit.
Yeah.
Starting to opening while you talk.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm just going to say a couple of announcements, and I'm going to pass it off to you. You're lucky because you're at home. You don't have the face mask ready and you don't have your gloves on, though it's odd to say that I'm actually getting used to wearing these gloves, which I didn't want to say, but I am, and that's good because we're staying healthy and safe. Just so everybody knows, no one in the extended Solare family that we know of has contracted coronavirus. We feel very blessed. We know a lot of their friends and family, though, maybe have. And so our thoughts are out to the people that have. But everybody that you've known here at Solare has stayed healthy. Their immediate families have stayed healthy. So we feel very grateful to that. But what I was saying, and I want to finish up, is we really want to thank everybody that's watching right now, everybody that's been so kind to us. What I announced yesterday, and I put in my email blast this morning, and I did on Facebook today as well, is over the last 30 days, thanks to you, we raised $8,500 for the team. $8,500. And all of that is going to the Solare team, the hardworking folks, not management, the hardworking folks. And it's primarily going to the team members that aren't able to come into work, meaning right now there's just not an opportunity for me to employ servers, for example, or bussers. And so the folks that are working here actually took a much smaller percentage of the tips, which is amazing, to make sure the folks that are at home, worried and, wanting to be back are taken care of. But thanks to you, $8,500. And we also had an anonymous donor. The masked man is actually on our Facebook page, but he donated himself through a group he's with $1,000 to the Solare team. So I just want to thank him again. He knows who he is, but thank you very, very much for that. From the bottom of our hearts. So $8,500 in 1 month. That month ended last Sunday, so we're already a full week into the next month, and we're just going to keep doing it until this situation is over. So I just wanted to make a big announcement there. We started opening for business today at 4 o'clock. If you do want to give us a call, we'd love to take an order. Our menu is online, so while you're having an Italian spritz with Petra, learning all about how to eat and drink like an Italian, we'd love it if you put it in order. We'll take good care of you tonight or tomorrow. Tomorrow from 4 to 8 as well. We're open every day now, and our plan is when this is all over, we're going to be open every day again. I think it's a chance for all of us to reset in so many things. Okay, my announcements are done. Petra, I am passing.
Please find another announcement to do because I forgot one important thing, which is ice.
Oh.
So I'll go inside and get some ice. You do another announcement.
So I'm just going to steal Petra's thunder on just one thing. I won't go into details, but Petra has actually designed a wonderful Italian wine course that we're going to do for free on Solare Live. Each segment is designed to be just 30 minutes long, and each one is going to either cover a region of Italy, a varietal that's indigenous to Italy, other interesting things on how you can consume and better appreciate Italian wine at home. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to announce the whole schedule. I think she has like at least 10 30-minute segments. We know you won't be able to watch them all, but you can look at the schedule, figure out ones that are most interesting to you. So I stole a little bit of her thunder, but she'll get into more details on this Solare Live. The Solare Live will definitely be done in less than an hour, so I'm going to keep an eye on the time. It looks like Petra's back with ice in hand. Again, hopefully everybody has their spritzes ready or ready to go. And Petra, take it away. I'll only interrupt occasionally and maybe act a little bit like an interviewer.
Please. And as Randy said, today we're enjoying a Sunday aperitif all together. So let's start by, for those of you that went to Solare and pick up the kit, let's start by making our spritz. So we have something to enjoy and drink while we're talking. Also, for the next time, if you haven't done it this time, I'm organized with chips, peanuts, and also some olives. Couldn't get green olives, which would be the best pairing. I got those olives. But anyway, this is something, if you go to a bar, even if you're just standing there, it's 6 p.m. in Italy, anywhere, a cafeteria, a fancy bar, wherever you might go, 6 o'clock, you order a glass of Prosecco, you order a spritz, and magically, they'll provide you with some little balls of what we would call companatico. It goes with it, right? So you have your drink and you munch on some chips or some peanuts and stuff like that. But that's kind of the easy way of doing an aperitif. So let's make our spritz. First of all, you can use a wine glass. That's how we normally serve it at Solare. Just so you know, if you come in and you order a spritz, it will be served in this vehicle. But in many places, you might find it served in a glass like this. So it varies. But let's, for today, I'm going to make my spritz in the wine glass. So in terms of measurements, yes, Randy?
Oh, every now and then I might just do that to announce a few people. While I'm saying a few words, maybe I would recommend angling the camera down a little bit so you can see more of the things in front of you. But I just want to welcome John and Sue. I don't know if you saw Petra, but your dad from Florence, Italy joined. We have Gail and Bruce who just grabbed some food in the kit. I don't know if you saw, but yep, Betsy and Bill joined, which is awesome. I apologize if I'm missing some. We have Sean from up north. We have the Barley Man. We have Medium Experience. Thank you for joining. And we have Petra who's joined. That's awesome. Okay, back to you, Petra.
That might be Sophia, my daughter, from her thing.
Oh, probably.
So, first of all, making sure you know that I actually own this. Got it as a wedding gift. Possibly today, guys, is the first time I'm actually using this cocktail kit. So there's always a time for things. So measurements. You also got that beautiful recipe kit and some history about spritz that Randy sent out with the kits. Making sure that you know that I think the place where spritz is mostly famous is Venice. You go to Venice, you gotta stop in a bar and get a spritz, enjoying the view of one of the canals or something like that. But that being said, we drink spritz all over Italy. The main difference would be the kind of bitter that you use, which there are quite a few around there. We personally at Solare love our spritz made with Cappelletti bitter, which is the one you got in the kit, which is sweeter wine-based style of aperitif of bitter. This is our choice, but my recommendation would be, if you want to find out what is your style of spritz, possibly start by buying a bottle of Cappelletti, a bottle of Aperol, and try to make a spritz with both of them, and then decide what is your style. Some might be a little bit sweeter than the other, syrupy than the other, and you kind of play with it and decide what is that in your style. Also, in terms of garnish, depends on when you are in Italy. You find people using just an orange slice, or orange and lemon, or also the addition of a green olive. That kind of all depends. It's more of kind of a regional different recipe. And also the wine in it. Now, a good spritz is made with Prosecco in most cases. But in lots of other areas of Italy, you might go and they may just pour from the draft. They may pour some sparkling wine, whatever that is, locally made, some kind of bubbly white wine, and that would be the wine component in the spritz. So it depends. But if you ask me, I like my spritz made with good Prosecco. Like you may have got different brands in the kits. The one that I'm using today is Bartolomeo. It's a Valdobbiadene Prosecco. Valdobbiadene is the area of production, which is also what makes it a DOCG. Remember, we talked about it in the first live that we did about Italian wine, so the highest level of appellation. In theory, the best in theory. Actually, it is the best area of production, Valdobbiadene and Conegliano for Prosecco DOCG. Okay, so let's start our recipe. We take, if you have a measuring cup, great, but in theory, you want to put about 1.5 per order of your bitter. Okay, so my measuring cups is 1 ounce, so I'm gonna do 1.5 of this thingy. There we go. Then I'm gonna do about 2 ounces of Prosecco and 2 ounces of sparkling water. We have Pellegrino, but you can use a regular soda water, whatever you have available, just the bubbly water, okay? So I'm gonna eyeball this, please allow me. But I'm gonna do about 2 ounces of Prosecco, about 2 ounces of this. You guys have any questions so far? Working on your spritz?
I'm just letting everybody know that if anybody didn't get the recipe or would like it, if they just email us, we can send it to you right after the broadcast.
Very good. And then, actually, I'm gonna wait for the ice. First, I'm gonna cut my fruit. So today I had lemon and orange, but I'm gonna do it very traditional and stick to orange today, okay? So that's all I'm gonna put in it. I'm gonna cut a slice of orange, which recalls the aromatics of the bitter, just so you know. There's always a meaning also for the garnishing cocktail. There's always a thought about it. So normally a garnish recalls and reminds some of the components that are in the cocktail. So I'm gonna put this in, and then I'm gonna.
So just so you know, Petra.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both have Kate and Kathy V that both just came by this afternoon and got their cocktail kits. They're just saying they're making theirs now, and they're doing a salute and a cheers to you.
Very good. I'm almost ready to cheer. Let me move some stuff around. But
now, is it true that every single day at 4:30 you have a Spritz cocktail? Every single day at 4:30?
This is definitely not a cocktail that you shake. You know, you have bubbles inside, so you don't want to do that. So you prepare in your glass like this. And here's my spritz. cheers. Is anybody ready to go?
I think there are lots.
Drinking.
Yeah.
I'm going.
I feel embarrassed. I actually have a Sangiovese wine. We actually got a rush of orders at Solare, so instead of me making my spritz, I did this. But if Filippo is able to break away and come in, I'm going to leave and go make mine.
Sounds good. So maybe you'll join us in a bit with Spritz.
Oh, Filippo just joined. Is he here? Oh, I'm going to move out of the seat and let Filippo come in for a minute because I know he's busy. Here's Filippo.
Filippo.
Yep.
Ciao.
Come stai? How are you?
Bene. Where is my spritz?
I don't know. We didn't have time to make you one. Apparently, you got too busy.
Ah, no.
Well, you'll get one soon. Well, since I have you now, and you might get busy again, I'm gonna talk to people a little bit about the history of Italian cuisine, wine, pairings. This is kind of what we're gonna address today. But since I have your time now, tell us a few things about you and you growing up in the area where you did, which is southern Tuscany, around Saturnia. And one of the things I want to highlight today, it's the strong link and relationship between the region where we grew up, the area where we grew up. Sometimes, you know, like Florence to Saturnia is very different, or coastal area to Saturnia, very different. So
yes, it is.
I want to ask you that, some of your memories, some of the recipes that came down from great grandma to mom to Filippo, etc. And what do you remember? So just make them feel like they were spending one Sunday in Saturnia with you and your family.
As you know, I grew up in Saturnia, is a very little village. So is the Morellino area, but more than that, so Sangiovese basically. More than that, I grew up with homemade wine, white and red, and usually the grape is unknown. So there is so many, because there was this kind of use to exchange. So I give you a grape, and the vineyard was a mess. You don't know what is in that.
A field blend, a beautiful field blend, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you probably will never buy an house wine, the wine that my dad always, ciao babbo, always does. He's still doing it. He has a little vineyard, and there is no one plant that is in match with another one. So you cannot say if it is Sangiovese or Barolo, because there was this kind of thing. You go in Piemonte to find a friend, and you brings a plant of your. So there was an exchange, and the cooking is, for me, many of my memories when I was a kid. Many of the dishes are the perfect pairing. Is actually that wine you're never gonna find in any store. Actually, there is some producer, you know, Elisabetta Fagioli, for example, remind me a lot. That style is a very original one, the very hearty and almost stinky, you know what I'm talking about.
It has that pleasant, homey skin to it.
Yeah,
That's what
and it reminds me like baccalà with cipollato, which is the dish that we do.
Explain them what baccalà is. They made
baccalà is a salted cod. Unsalted, salted because you have to preserve. Actually, where I come from, all the seafood was preserved. So this strong wine perfectly paired with anchovy or baccalà, because we were so far from the sea. Right now, saying that 20 kilometers, which is 15 miles, is nothing. But at the time, with no car, so it was 20 miles. I don't want to. The only seafood you see was anchovy or anguilla fumicata, the heel, which is gonna be preserved by the smoke. So any kind of seafood was preserved. So this strong feeling on the Friday, you know, as a Christian family, they were respecting no meat on Friday. So they were putting on the table once a week a seafood or vegetable. We were vegetarian, pescatarian at the time.
Okay. Is there, I would be curious to know if there is, since we're going to talk about pairing, a special dish, something, specific item that you remember either your family or yourself making, and then what you eat that with in your memory. If you go back, what is like?
Let's come more close, more than my memory. Let's talk about more close to now. Before I left, I think the perfect pairing from my area is gonna be my scottadito lamb with Carla Benini ciliegiola.
Wow. Thank you for mentioning Carla. Ciao, Carla. I hope you're going to see this video. Since he talked about her, Carla Benini, good friend of Filippo, good friend of mine. She's an amazing wine producer, winemaker, down right around the area where Filippo's from. Actually, she's located in Piccini. She works a lot with a varietal from Tuscany called Ciliegio, which is one of the blending grapes for Chianti. And she focuses on that because she loves it. Somehow, she's from Trento, you know, and she's a lover of Teroldego, for those of you who know this varietal too. And she planted in Tuscany. She's one of the few that brought Teroldego into Tuscany. But she's focused on Ciliegio, volcanic soil, beautiful wines. Ask us more about it. We can get them for you. But this is right from Filippo neck of the wood.
And actually, you know, her number 6 is again my dad's kind of style.
And that's a white, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me a lot. So that's mine.
Yes.
Oh, you got
Chin. I gotta go back to work.
Finally, I can cheers with my Solare family. Cheers, guys. Okay, well, thank you, Filippo.
Thank you, awesome. Filippo.
Yeah, and I do have memories. My sister's husband family used to make their own wine. Very small vineyard, but that was the wine in big bottles, like Magnum size, that we would open at every meal at my sister's home on Sundays. My own family, my mother, myself, and my dad, we mostly made olive oil. We still do. We have an olive grove, very typical for a lot of Italian family. If you have some land to make your own olive oil, to bring it to the what's called the frantoio, which is where they press the olives and make the oil. Sometimes you share. You kind of get some helpers, and then you share the not economically, but the product. So you make X liters of olive oil, you keep some and you give some. That's your form of payment to the people that came and helped you with the harvest of the olives. Very, very typical. Now, I want to say a couple of words. You know, there's a lot of information about the history of cuisine in Italy, how things have evolved throughout the centuries. And I encourage all of you who are curious to possibly go out and get your own information. But the most important things to know is that it's always, of course, even the cuisine in Italy have always been evolving. And today is definitely quite different from what it was centuries ago. But the most important times, I'd say, are the Romans, who started the habit of banquets. Banquets for Romans were very important, if you think about it, also because they were conquered. They were going all over the world and bringing new ingredients and products that were not part of our daily cuisine at that time. So those banquets were a way how to try new things, taste new spices, new herbs, tomatoes, whatever that would be. Actually, tomatoes came later. Sorry about that. But that's what happens with the Romans. So the culture of good eating and good drinking with wines that were normally they would normally have honey added to it. It was sweet liquors wines. That's what the Romans were drinking. But that was very important at that time. Then the barbarians invasion started. Barbarians, the name said it all, were not really into fancy dining. So the habit of banquets kind of went away a little bit in that period, but it was fun to see how barbarians and or Romans kind of learned from each other. For example, we finally got to get beer and dairy butter product through the barbarians' invasion. They learned the use of olive oil that they did not have in their northern areas. You remember, barbarians all pretty much came from the northern area of Europe, where olive oil is definitely not a product of importance as it is in Italy. Then things changes with Christianity. We went through a period where they wanted you to fast. They told you don't eat meat, it's sin. You have to have like a very poor diet and kind of link your diet to religious. And then again, a flourish, I would say, happened in the Italian cuisine with the beginning of the Principati and the city-states, with all the diverse. Help me with that, Randy. Can find the word. So when Italy became like an agglomeration of independent,
Like when you were all unified? When you were unified?
even before, now before that, when there were
Oh,
like the Medici, the Sforza, and all the different
yeah, when
families.
you had all the disparate kingdoms that were all fighting with each other, different
Bravo.
rules, different traditions. Yeah.
So in that period is when I think the most differentiation among regional cuisine started to happen. Also with the arrival of different people. Like if you think about the cuisine in Piemonte, based on the people that actually went to Piemonte, and if you compare that to the cuisine of Sicily, you have two completely different universe, right? Because Arabs never make it out to Piemonte, so you're not gonna eat couscous or cumin or curry spices in Piemonte cuisine, but you're definitely gonna find a lot of that in Sicily. So with that happening, that even after the unification of Italy in 1861, all the regional cuisine started to develop based on mostly the availability of products on site, because our cuisine is based on what's available where we live. Very simple cuisine based normally. Now, I'm not talking about Bottura and Michelin star chef now in this moment. I'm talking about like a regular diet and what Italians normally eat. It's very regional. What's available there, it's what we eat. Of course, we like Italian stuff too, but mostly is that. Yes, Randy.
I only am doing an executive interrupt because your father says, do not forget to mention Caterina de' Medici.
Caterina de' Medici, very important person. She brought civility to France. She taught them how to use flatware. The French would not know that. There's a lot of important things to say about Caterina de' Medici. Thank you, Nonno, for mentioning that. Nonno means grandfather, so I call him Nonno and sometimes Babbo, which is the Toscan word for father, Babbo. So Babbo, thank you. Yeah, definitely Caterina de' Medici had a lot of importance in the history of our cuisine. Yes, sir.
So you're basically letting everybody know that's listening who make tweets or do social media that Petra Belliti is saying that the Italians taught everything France knows about cooking and wine.
Not cooking, eating. Like civilized person using flatware. I'm not gonna
You're not gonna go
about
there.
French cuisine. But it is different from us, from ours. Filippo, if he's able to come back, he might confirm this. I mean, the basic of Italian cuisine, it's not too many ingredients.
Yep.
Respect for the product itself. So our use of sauces or things that might cover the actual flavors and aromas of the actual ingredient, it's not really what we do. We eat vegetables simply steamed with olive oil and salt. Our salad, the dressing, it's mostly olive oil, balsamic, or regular vinegar and salt. There's no, our fishes are simply grilled with or cooked with some white wine and olive oil and salt. There's really this, compared to French cuisine, because you mentioned it, where there's much more use of butter, dairy, and sauces. Our cuisine Mediterranean diet is much more simpler and more product oriented. The most important thing is the quality of the ingredients that you're putting together, not as much what you're dressing them with, but the quality of the product. So going back to how do we eat and drink in Italy? So there's a lot of things that I can say about our habits. And one thing that should be said is that there's like a lot of unwritten rules that no matter where you're from in Italy, whichever region, whichever culinary traditions you might have, they're just in your head because you're Italian. And I don't want you to feel bad about any of those. You might have been to Italy once, you may have never been to Italy, you may want to go. So what I'm telling you is that please keep eating and drinking the way you like. Nothing is wrong with that. But there are certain things that you might do in Italy that may cause the people who are asking to provide you that certain item might look you in a weird way. Don't get offended. We are a little bit over proud about our way of eating and drinking. So you may get into a restaurant in Florence or in other areas where you ask for a thing and they're looking at you and say, not doing that. I mean, it really happens. And as Americans, and I'm putting myself now in the mix of that because I feel different about it a little bit now, but you might feel like, oh, that's very poor customer service. That's not how they look at that, though. They're just like, no, this is my tradition. This is what I do. And if you're asking me now to grate Parmigiano on your baccalà, on your cod, I'm not going to do it. They might just tell you no. And you're just going to have to say, okay, I guess I'm going to go along and do what you tell me to do. But there are those unwritten rules. Yes, Randy?
I was going to say, what we should do, there seems to be a lot of interest by the audience on those unwritten rules. Yeah. And there actually are a lot. If you remember when Chef Accurcio was here, he kind of had his list.
Yep.
Chef Filippo has a slightly different list. You have your list. Yep. It'd be fun to have them come together because some of them make perfect sense, like don't serve cheese with this or whatever. Some of them are more just like, no, we don't do that, go away. It'd be fun to do a session on that, and we'll have to set that up.
Perfect, yeah.
And then also just a couple of quick things. We have Jean says that she's making hers she has grapefruit at her house. She's doing a grapefruit spritz with Campari and Prosecco. Sounds delicious. The Barley Man in Escondido recommends brie with honey. That sounds absolutely amazing. Wow. There's a person you know well named Jeremy. He says he's on his third, going to his fourth spritz. So good luck with that. And then CEC Fane 74 says, Petra is really amazing. How come she isn't on Solare Live more? And so we'll talk about all the Italian classes you're going to be teaching on Solare Live. But you definitely have your fan club out there. Oh, and also Alice just joined. Hello, Alice. She delivers great wine to us.
Alice, I miss you so much. Great Italian. Very, very knowledgeable about wine. She's with Wine Warehouse, one of our main suppliers, and we miss you, love.
Oh, people are also asking about your hair. For the people that know you, they're like, what's up with your hair?
Well, it's called coronavirus reaction to boredness. So it's the time to experiment. And I said, why not? I have time to go back to normal, hopefully. It says temporary, so it should fade. But anyway, for now, I'm purple. I'm like the purple fata, the fatina from Pinocchio. If you've seen the movie with Benigni, Pinocchio, I should remind you of the little fairy that talks to Pinocchio in that movie. Anyway, going back to us, let's, unless there's any specific questions, while I'm enjoying my spritz, let's talk more about do you want to talk a little bit more about these unspoken rules, or you want to do something later on specifically on
I think we should do something later on. We won't do it justice if we try to squeeze it in. Okay. We only have about 20 minutes left, so I would say you know, I think what a lot of people, when you were telling me about your idea to do this, you were saying, you know, talking about things that people can do at home. Like
Yes.
there's a tradition of the spritz that you've kind
Yep.
of covered. You
Yep.
could maybe even talk a little bit more about, like, you know, do you have a spritz for breakfast? Would that be wrong? What about having a cappuccino after dinner? Kind of
Got it.
follows into that last one.
Understand.
What are things people can do at home, like limoncello or grappa?
Well, definitely, if you never try to making limoncello at home, it's fun and easy. And that's one of the things that we can help you with from Solare. So if you're curious about that, that's definitely an easy to make at home kind of liqueur, where you pretty much just need like a high proof alcohol, the lemon zest, and sugar. That's all you need to make it. So very easy. Please contact us if you want to. We make all our cellos in-house. Tommy's the cellos master. We make different flavors, and we can definitely tell you how to make it. In Italy, the tradition is that you're done. If you're at a restaurant, but even if you're at home, but let's assume you're in a restaurant because we're going to travel to Italy as tourists. So you go, you have your meal, you're to the end of your meal, and in most places, they will ask you if you want to have an after dinner. We can vary anywhere from limoncello, crema di limone, which is a cream of lemon, depends on where you are, grappa, amaros, digestivos like Montenegro or things like that. And normally what the owner of the restaurant or the server does, he brings on the table 2 or 3 bottles. They kind of average the consumption that you do, but they pretty much leave you at the table with all these bottles and you're there. And you just drink whatever it is that you want to drink as your choice of after dinner. But it's very typical. Now, do we do that every day and every time we go out? No. But when you go out for a nice dinner with friends, that's most likely how the night ends, with like a beautiful pairing of amaro, grappa, and limoncello bottles on the table. Everybody drinks what they want, which, just so you know, it is normally after dessert and not with it. We do not use those beverages as a pairing with dessert. It's normally after, okay? So normally dessert goes by itself, then we may have coffee, and then we have our after dinner drink. That's the way how we do it. Then you like your paired limoncello or something with dessert. That's actually how we mostly do it here. I actually enjoy it, and there's some pairings that are delicious. I'm thinking about one example from our menu at Solare. If you come and have our cannoli and pair them with a serving of our Benrier, which is a dessert wine made of Zibibbo, Moscato di Alessandria from the island of Pantelleria, you're just gonna be in heaven. You do want to have that cannolo with that dessert wine because they link with each other. It's the flavors of the dessert and the aromas and flavors of the wine. They're a match made in heaven. But going backwards, so we were talking about aperitif, right? So we have fun traditions in Italy. Well, definitely we don't go every night out to have an aperitif or a drink before dinner. We work like we do here. We're at work, we come home, we have dinner. We don't necessarily stop to a bar or a cafe every night to have an aperitif. But on weekends, it's pretty normal. It's a very social experience that we love to do. And you bring together friends, you meet at a specific bar, you order your cocktail, your glass of prosecco, your glass of wine, whatever that might be, and then either you just munch on these little things like I show you, or you do what we call apericena. There are some places, some are more fancy than others, where you actually can have a full dinner. You go to Florence downtown, many bars, you buy maybe for 6 to 10 euro maximum, depends on how fancy the place is, one drink, and you pretty much have this open banquet of amazing food that you can eat with it. And we call this apericena, so aperitif dinner. And it's something that became pretty famous when I was starting to be in my drinking age. It didn't exist before. So talking
Be careful. Be
19
careful.
I know. I'm trying to say it in a way without saying that I'm not 25 for real, like I always say.
We're
But yeah,
talking like
about 20,
1996, right?
late 90s, early 2000s. I think that's
Yeah.
when the aperitivo fashion came into place, which in a way had a lot to do also with the boom of Prosecco. Just keep that to your mind. The two things kind of happened kind of at the same time. And then, so we have that, but in a normal day, Italians wake up, have a very simple breakfast. Do we have spritz at breakfast? No. Do we have brunch on Sundays and drink spritz or mimosa or stuff like that? Not really. It's not part of our breakfast thing. Brunch doesn't really happen in Italy, so the concept of alcohol with breakfast, it's really not, it's not a thing. Okay, then there are Italians that might enjoy their glass of mimosa early in the morning on a weekend, but it's not a normal thing. It would be more of an exception. But a regular day starts with an easy breakfast, very sugary, either at home or at a bar, a cafe. So at home, you normally get cafe latte and you dip in cookies in it, or a slice of toast with marmalade, homemade jam in most cases, made from your grandma or your mother, or things like this. Very simple. Or for those who work, you normally get out of the house, stop in a cafe, get an espresso or a cappuccino, a croissant, cornetto, that's how we call it, and that's your breakfast. Then there's lunch, and then there's dinner, of course, in your regular day. Lunches are normally quite simple. Mostly, if you're in your working day, you don't want to get to